They've come from all over the world. Russia, Germany, Wales, Norway, the United States. Assembling here in Las Vegas, all with the same objective. All with the same dedication to their sport. This only happens once a year. Who will overcome the obstacles? And who will crack under the pressure? After years of training, now, in just a few moments, they will compete against each other in WJF 3, the 2006 World Juggling Federation Overall Champion.
Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2006 World Juggling Federation Championships. I'm John Wee.
And I'm Owen Morse, and this year we're going to show you the entire circuit of events these athletes compete in for a shot at the overall championship.
Right. Now, the overall championship is determined by the total accumulated score from 19 different events. Some events score higher than others, but it's in each competitor's best interest to compete in as many events as possible to maximize their overall score.
360s, endurance, freestyle, balls, rings, and clubs. Let's check out what's already gone down in the first day of competitions.
It's amazing how rapidly the skill level in juggling has increased since the first WJF competition. With each WJF event, we see juggling taken to higher levels of difficulty.
Truly amazing juggling, and competitors are training harder than ever before.
We started out with the WJF Challenge competitions as a warm-up. The scores from these competitions did not apply to the overall championship, but they allowed competitors to demonstrate some amazing skill and control over their juggling.
The isolated endurance competition puts the competitors atop chairs. They start juggling at the same time, and whoever can juggle the longest without having to move will win.
In the 7-ball competition, round 1 put last year's German winner Thomas Dietz up against Russia's Vova Galchenko. This is Vova's first year competing in the ball categories.
And look at that, spanks Thomas in his first competition. Round 2 put Norway's Christian Vonvik against Toby Walker from Wales, and it did not last long at all.
Christian ending by demonstrating a hop over the chair to avoid tripping and falling on his face. You can see here that Christian dropped his third throw, giving Toby an easy victory in this round. In round 3, Wes Peden from the USA was matched against Argentina's Marco Pauletti. This is Marco's first time in WJF competition, and he loses to Wes by just 1 second. And also ending with a hop over the chair.
And that brings us to the finals in the 7-ball isolated endurance. Semi-finalists Vova Galchenko, Toby Walker, and Wes Peden all start their 7-ball attempt.
Toby and Wes drop almost at the same time, while Vova Galchenko is still in complete control over his pattern and stops gracefully, earning the very first award at this year's competition.
Now, since we've seen such a jump in competitors' abilities, this year the WJF included 7 clubs in the isolated endurance competition.
The competitors took turns and were scored based on total amount of catches, not time.
Toby Walker went first and got a total of 8 catches. Thomas Dietz got a total of 2 catches.
Well, it was a clean 2, though.
Oh, very clean.
Tight.
Yeah, no drops. Throws 2, catches 2. I mean, that's 100% success in the throws to catches ratio department.
And he sticks with 2 because he has no other choice. Wes Peden comes in just below Toby with 7 catches, but then the final competitor, Vova Galchenko, takes this competition with 12 catches.
Not a bad first year for this competition. Next year we'll probably see much longer runs.
The final competition in this category was the 5-club backcross isolated endurance. So many competitors now can do 5-club backcrosses so easily that it's really become a pattern they use to go into and out of from other moves. Vova does a 5-up 360 connected to backcrosses. Wes goes in and out of backcrosses from flat throws, but put them on a chair and see how well they do.
Starting with Thomas Dietz, someone who really owns this move, you can see he starts off with a lot of trouble just maintaining the basic pattern on the chair. And when he finally does get around to starting the back crosses, he slams his fourth throw right into his left butt cheek.
Oh.
Yeah, which is hard to do from the right side, and gets 0 catches.
These isolated endurance competitions are held in one shot, do-or-die rounds, and in this round, Thomas did not do.
No, he died. Following Thomas with very little pressure was Vova Galchenko. Vova definitely has the most stable juggling patterns we've seen so far, and here he gets 10 catches before dropping all but one, and then focuses all his attention on not falling off the chair.
Well done.
Yeah, very nice.
Up next was the unique juggling style of Christian Vonvik. You can see, look at this, he lowers his arms much more than any of the other competitors. This results in higher throws that he actually needs to give him enough time for that added arm movement. Christian gets 12 catches here and then leaps after the 13th, but not soon enough, and that wouldn't have counted anyway.
The leap may have just been to keep him from falling on his face.
Either way, both are excellent in slow motion.
They are indeed.
Look at that. Excellent. Toby Walker, using the lower double spin technique, makes his mark in at 8 catches, but then last year's champion in this event, Wes Keaton, starts his 5 club back crosses after just 8 throws of the basic pattern. Corrects for a few narrow and overspun throws. Keeps it going well into the 20s. Passing the 30 catch mark and finishing with 35 catches of 5 club back crosses while isolated atop a chair. A new world record in this event, and of course, this wins Wes his first award this year.
And now on to the last and most interesting of the WJF challenge competitions, the low 360s.
A 360 is where a juggler throws a certain amount of objects they're juggling higher than the rest, spins their body a full 360 degrees around while the objects are in the air, and then resumes a continuous juggling pattern.
This competition challenges the competitors to do these moves lower than anyone else. And we do that with an adjustable ceiling that gets lower after each height is qualified.
Okay, now to qualify a 360, after the spin is completed, the juggler must make twice the number of catches as there are objects being juggled. For example, if 3 objects are being used, 6 catches must be made. For 5 objects, 10 catches, etc.
The competition started off with 5 balls. The preliminary round determined the starting height we see here.
Thomas Dietz makes his first attempt, executing the 360, but dropping the second catch. Vova Galchenko does a little better, dropping the third catch.
Jason Garfield, the third and final competitor, assumes the crouching position, common in the low 360s competition.
The lower you are, the lower your balls are.
That's right. Jason gets them all up, makes the 360, falls down on one knee, keeping the pattern going and qualifying the 360.
Wow, Jason gets it on the first attempt and makes for a quick competition.
The next competition was the 5-ring low 360s.
Jason and Thomas were the only competitors in the ring competitions this year, and they started off here. Thomas starts his first attempt and doesn't quite get the 5th ring out before starting the 360.
Jason Garfield makes all the throws but drops the first catch. Catches the rest though.
On Thomas's second attempt, he makes all the throws, executes the 360, but can't quite manage to continue juggling, which gives Jason a chance to win if he makes it on his second attempt.
So here he goes, makes all the throws and the spin.
Oh, hits the ceiling,
Oh.
doesn't drop them, but goes into a multiplex pattern.
That seemed odd.
Yeah, throwing 2 at a time, that's out of each hand, which is of course not allowed in this competition, which means Thomas gets another chance.
But again, having a problem making the first catch and dropping it and another one.
So Jason can take it here if he gets it on his 4th attempt. He makes all the throws and falls down on one knee again while keeping the pattern going and qualifying the 360, beating Thomas again. Seems like if Garfield spins around and falls down, he's got a better chance of nailing the move.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, and I guess he was borrowing Thomas's rings as well. Check that out.
That. You can feel the love.
Yeah.
What sportsmanship. There's probably nobody else in the world who can demonstrate a lower 360 with 5 clubs than Vova Galchenko, but we really like to see it, so Vova did an exhibition of this move, and, well, just check this out. Now, all these throws are in single rotations, including the setup for the 360. He throws all the clubs up, spins around, and keeps the pattern going for a qualifying run.
Unbelievable. And just look how many of the throws are hitting the ceiling and wrong ends he's catching, yet he keeps going.
His clubs don't seem to have a fat end.
No.
He can catch and throw anything. Wow, that was amazing. And he got a medal anyway since, well, we had some extras.
Okay, on to the final competitions in this category. This is actually the low 720s.
That's right, 2 spins with 3 clubs up under the low ceiling. The only competitors who passed prelims for this were Vova Galchenko and Jason Garfield.
Jason starts off the competition with his patented fall to one knee, but doesn't do it this time.
Vova Galchenko takes his first attempt, falling down and failing as well, which gives Garfield another attempt. Makes the first throw and the spin. Oh, just a little too low on that first throw and barely misses it.
Okay, here comes Vova again, and now on his second attempt.
Oh, with nearly perfect execution, Vova nails the 720 and wins the competition on his second attempt.
Man, that was clean.
Wow, well now that the competitors have warmed up, it's time to start down the path to the overall championship. All of these events will add to the competitors' overall score if they place first, second, or third. You get 1 point for first place, 0.5 points for second, and 0.25 points for third place in each of the following events.
The only exception to that is the main ball, ring, and club competitions, where the competitors can score up to 10 points per competition. But we'll let you know when we get to that.
Now we started off with the endurance competitions. Juggle the most amount of objects for the highest number of catches, and you win. In the ball event, Marco Paoletti got third place with 23 catches of 8 balls.
Now you'll notice that he's using the most difficult pattern for 8 balls, which is 4 in each hand.
Second place went to Vova Galchenko with 31 catches of 8 balls, also in the 4 in each hand pattern.
That's a really pretty pattern.
It's very difficult to keep the throws from crossing to the other side and from hitting each other. But first place went to Thomas Dietz, who was the only competitor to qualify 9 balls and with 27 catches and a clean finish.
Oh, and look at the sportsmanship there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
He's truly an athlete's athlete.
He is.
Thomas then tried 10 balls, but this is clearly a few years away from the minimum 20 catches to qualify. It is nice to see him try it, though.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, now moving on to the ring endurance competition. Just 2 competitors in this one, Thomas Dietz and Jason Garfield. Thomas's best attempt with 8 rings was 15 catches, just 1 throw under the required 16 catches to qualify. And it seems as though he can't throw 4 rings out of his right hand, so he wedges the 8th ring between his legs until his hand is free to grab it.
Yeah, interesting choice. Not the most flattering way to start juggling, but then Garfield throws all 8 rings out of his hands in a 4 in each hand pattern and makes a clean 24 catches, winning the ring endurance competition.
Now here's where we really see how far the WJF endurance competition has come along over the last 3 years. In the club endurance competition, everyone qualified with 6 clubs, as you can see here.
We've got your Toby Walker, your Wes Peden, your Thomas Dietz, and your Vova Galchenko.
Yet notice that Vova is the only competitor using the most difficult pattern of 3 in each hand, which just looks so much nicer.
Oh, it really does.
This is called the fountain pattern. Each side makes a slight inside to outside arc to allow the pattern to continue without the clubs slamming into each other.
Yeah, that's so clean. It's a very pretty pattern and a clean finish as well, catching all the clubs in his hands just like he started.
Although Thomas did have the longest run of everyone with 6 clubs using the crossing triple-double pattern.
He's got a little bit of a hoppy bouncing style opposed to Vova's smooth controlled arm movements. But the 6 club runs don't matter because the competition then advanced to the 7 club level. Toby Walker got 16 catches with 7 clubs, a step down for him from the 31 catches he won with in 2004. Thomas Dietz qualified 7 clubs for his first time in WJF competition with 28 catches and almost a clean finish.
But get ready for a first ever in WJF competition. In 2004, Toby Walker won the 7 club endurance with 31 catches of 7 clubs. In 2005, Vova won with 32 catches. But check this out. Look how long he keeps this going.
What must it be like to be able to do this?
Oh, I would love to be able to step in there. Just take his pattern and just run it for a moment.
Just walk in. I mean, I would pay big dollars to be able to do that.
How much is that worth? How much would you pay to suddenly be able to juggle 7
If somebody
clubs?
could just hand you that trick and you just plop down your money on a counter like, kind of like a magician does when they buy a prop?
Yeah, when a magician buys their best tricks. How much would you pay for this one?
Oh my God, it's a lot. Look at that.
Oh my!
Oh,
170 catches and a clean finish.
No way.
Oh my goodness, that is remarkable. Is it $100,000?
It's got to be something like that, doesn't it?
50,000? 100,000?
Just to be able to do that. I mean, people might think we're crazy, but if you had any idea,
The number of hours you spent doing that.
yeah, the number of hours it would take me to learn that.
It's at least $100,000
Yeah.
worth. So here's how the endurance competition breaks down. Thomas Dietz scores 2 full points, 1 for his first place win in the ball endurance, and 0.5 points each for both second place finishes in the ring and club endurance competitions. Vova Galchenko receives 1.5 points, 1 full point for his 7 club endurance win, and 0.5 points for his second place finish in the ball endurance competition. Jason Garfield earns 1 full point for his first place win in the ring endurance competition. Toby Walker earns 0.25 points for his third place finish in the club endurance, and Marco Paoletti also receives 0.25 points for his third place finish in the ball endurance.
Okay, it's on to the 360s competition. 3 clubs, 5 balls, 5 rings, and 5 clubs. 1 minute per category to get as many 360s as possible with all the objects in the air.
With 3 clubs, all 3 clubs must be in the air while executing the 360. For 5 objects, all 5 must be in the air. Thomas Dietz started off the competition with 1 minute of 3 club 360s.
You'll notice that he's still using the old school technique of using a right-handed setup throw, so he can start each 360 with his dominant left hand.
And even with this technique, which makes repeating this move as easy as possible, Thomas still has several problems, dropping 5 times and then realizing that he's pretty much got no chance of winning.
Yeah.
He attempts some 720s to get his score up, but then tries a 3-up back cross 720 for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I guess not. Well, he's obviously given up at this point, and he's just playing around. He's not even rushing to pick up the drops.
Oh, he's in no hurry now.
No.
And so Thomas ends up with 19 360s and 2 things that we love to see, falling down and getting hit in the head with a club. Thomas accomplished both almost at the same time. The next up is Wes Peden, who is using the most difficult and fastest technique of repetitive 360s with no setup throws. Now, Vova Galchenko was the first person to use this incredibly difficult technique in the 2005 championships, and this year Wes is demonstrating an even balance of skill from both the right and the left hand.
Most jugglers learn a move from only one side, but to truly balance your skill, you really should learn them from both sides. That will give you more connection possibilities, meaning, of course, more points.
He's having some difficulties with this new technique, dropping enough times to make him think he might have been better off with the easier technique,
Yeah.
which would have been more consistent and resulted in more 360s overall. All that time he spends picking up the clubs, he could be spinning with the easier technique.
Yeah, that's true. But we do like seeing the more difficult technique used.
After the 10-second call, Wes then goes into back-to-back 720s with the setup throw. Wes finishes up with 30 360s in his 1-minute time. Last year's champion and world record holder in this event, Vova Galchenko, went up last. Vova is truly the master of 360 connections. Right after left, left after right.
Ridiculous.
Look at this. He's unstoppable.
Yeah.
He does travel forward a little bit, ending up in the back left corner, but no drops at all. Vova sets a new world record of 40 360s in 1 minute and ends exhausted.
Oh, man. I'm exhausted just watching.
Man, yeah, as jugglers, we can feel what these competitors are going through without actually possessing their skill. And I think that works out pretty well for us.
Well, I think it's going to have to. Next up was the 5-ball 360s. Toby Walker came in third with only 9 360s due to several drops.
Now, this was Vova's first year competing in any ball events, and he actually tied with Thomas Dietz for first place, both getting 27 360s, which was also a new world record in this event that they now share.
The 5-ring 360s was a little short on competitors this year. Wes Peden, competing in his first ring event, finished with 10 360s, and Thomas Dietz won with only 13 360s. Not very impressive considering the record in this competition is 21, set by Sergei Ignatov Jr. in 2004.
But on to our last 360 event, the 5 Club 360s. Last year, Vova amazed us all by getting 19 5-up 360s in 1 minute, ending with a 5-up 720 at the last second.
Oh, man.
Toby Walker comes in third with 7 360s, and Thomas Dietz comes in second place with 9, but both of them suffering from several drops and an excessive amount of setup throws in between each 360.
Now for Vova Galchenko, this move is used to connect to other more difficult moves, so he's really got it down solid. More solid than anyone else in the world.
Vova not only goes the whole minute with absolutely 0 drops, but continues with as few as only 3 setup throws between each 360. Vova wins first place and sets a new world record of 25 Club 360s in 1 minute. He didn't even need the 720 this year, and he got an extra 360 in there.
So after the 360s competition, here's where we stand in the overall breakdown. Toby Walker gets 0.5 points for his third place finishes in the 5 ball and 5 club 360s, giving him a total score of 0.75 points. Wes Peden receives a full point for his 2 second place finishes in the 5 ring and 3 club 360s. Thomas Dietz adds 2.25 points from his first place finish in the 5 ring and 5 ball 360s, which he shared with Vova Galchenko, second place finish in the 5 club 360s, and third place finish in the 3 club 360s. Vova Galchenko receives a full 3 points for his 3 first place wins in the 3 club, 5 ball, and 5 club 360 competitions.
So it now stands with Jason Garfield and Wes Peden tied in third place with 1 point each, Thomas Dietz in second place with 4.25 points, and Vova Galchenko leading the pack with 4.5 points. Up next is the WJF Freestyle event. Try your hardest move up to 5 times, drops don't count against you. Only the moves that you complete successfully, no matter how you pull them off, will get you points.
This is an original WJF competition you don't want to miss. We'll continue with the WJF Freestyle competition in just a moment.
Welcome back to the 2006 World Juggling Federation Overall Championship. I'm John Wee.
And I'm Owen Morse, and we're waiting to get started in the main ball, ring, and club programs. While we wait, let's see how the competitors did yesterday in the WJF Freestyle competition.
Just to give you a brief rundown on how this competition is scored, each competitor gets 5 attempts in each category to land any move that they want to attempt. Categories include 5, 6, and 7 balls, 5, 6, and 7 rings, 3, 4, and 5 clubs. They can try 5 different moves or try the same move 5 times in an attempt to land it. Competitors alternate attempts one after the other. Moving around and dropping doesn't affect their score. They only get points for the moves the judges feel they actually did successfully. This competition is designed to allow the competitors to try moves that are really extreme and probably need more than one try.
In the 5-ball freestyle competition, Marco Paoletti starts off with a reverse cascade, throws one high, continues in a cross arm pattern, and then right into a shower pattern, but drops before qualifying the shower.
Toby Walker attempts a 4-up multiplex 360 connected to a 3-up 360 shower pattern, but drops before re-entering the shower pattern. Vova Galchenko pulls off a 5-up 3-stage 1080, stopping after the first spin to catch the first 2 balls, spinning again to catch the second 2 while throwing back up the 2 he caught after the first spin, and then spinning one more time under the 5th throw, and then resumes the basic pattern.
That's easy for you to say.
Vova did this move last year with 5 clubs, so the transition to balls was probably pretty easy for him, and basically impossible for anyone else. Marco Paoletti comes back to try a different move this time. Too high and a low throw caught behind the head, but drops on the re-entry back into the pattern.
Toby Walker comes back strong to nail a 5-up 360 connected to overhead 744s.
In the second set, Thomas Dietz and Christian Vonvik shared the competition stage for their 5-ball move attempts. Thomas Dietz pulls off a 4-up multiplex 360 into 5 sets of a high, middle, low, 3 stacked shower pattern, and then re-entering a basic shower pattern. Christian Vonvik pulls off 2 connected 97531s right into a 975 360, and then back into 975 31.
Thomas Dietz tries to one better the Norwegian by doing the same sequence only with a 975 720, but ends up falling down as we're beginning to expect from the Germans.
There it is again.
Yeah.
Christian then tries to do a 3-up 1080, but drops 2 balls on the re-entry. And on his last attempt, Thomas executes a high, middle, low stacked shower pattern connected to a high, middle, low 360, and then back into the high, middle, low pattern.
The judges decided that Thomas's final move was worthy of third place, Marco Pauletti's cross-arm pattern connected to a shower was good enough for second, and Vova's three-stage 1080 ranked hardest move of the 5-ball freestyle competition.
In the 6-ball freestyle competition, Toby Walker starts off with a 6-ball, 6-up crossing 360, changing the pattern from 3 in each hand to a crossing 7-ball pattern for the 360, and then back into the 3 in each hand pattern immediately following the 360. Next up, Marco Pauletti attempts a 4-up crossing multiplex into B97531. That B stands for an 11, which is a really high throw, like 11-ball pattern high.
Vova then tries a 4-up sink 360 into a half shower, but suffers from a collision and doesn't get it on this attempt. But does get it on his next attempt. A little shaky, but good enough.
Toby then attempts overhead throws, but just falls short one throw from qualifying the pattern. Marco Pauletti then attempts a 4-up split into a shower pattern connected to a cross-arm pattern, and this move doesn't look even close to being ready for this competition. But he's already got the other move under his belt, so a harder move would put him in a better position if he could pull it off.
Next, Vova tries to pull off a 6-up async 360 with 3 in each hand, much harder than the crossing pattern Toby used, but doesn't quite make it. Toby pushes himself further with an attempt at a 2-stage 720, and again, not quite ready for competition. But in this competition, there's no penalty for trying to get lucky.
Marco's next attempt at this same move seems a little closer, but still doesn't quite make it. And on Vova's last attempt, he pulls off the 6-up async 360. In the second set, check this out. Christian Vonvik goes from a 6-ball pattern to a balance, and then a 5-up 360 with the ball still balanced on his head.
Thomas starts off with a 6-ball sink high-low pattern and a 360 under a set of high-low throws from each hand. Christian then tries a 4-up half-shower 360 but doesn't quite pull it off. Thomas returns with a 4-up multiplex 360 right into a shower pattern, traveling all the way to the right side of the stage and nails it, although may not have executed enough throws of the shower pattern to satisfy the judges.
Christian then tries a 4-up async 720 but fails on the re-entry, and then Thomas moves on to a new move, attempting an 8-4-8-4 4-up 360 but doesn't quite qualify the pattern before dropping on this last attempt.
The judges' final decision placed Vova's 6-up 360 in third place, Marco's B97531 in second place, and Thomas's async high-low 4-up 360 in first place.
Alright, starting off the 7-ball freestyle competition, Toby Walker attempts a 5-up multiplex 360 but loses control of a ball that goes flying way off to his right. Vova Galchenko starts off strong and pulls off a 5-up 360 into 8x6.
Next up, Marco Pauletti falls just 2 catches short of qualifying an 8-5 pattern. Toby Walker tries the 5-up multiplex again, this time without the 360, and comes close, but not quite.
Marco pulls off a B6, B7, and then back into the 7-ball basic pattern. Toby comes a little closer to his 5-up multiplex, but still doesn't get it.
In the second set, Christian Vonvik starts off juggling 5 balls and then adding the 6th and 7th from a foot and head placement, but misses a qualifying pattern. Thomas Dietz tries a 5-up 360 into a 4-up multiplex, but misses the qualify as well due to a really wide throw just out of arm's reach.
Christian goes for the move he missed on his first attempt, and this time qualifies the pattern and even ends clean. Thomas then goes for an 8x6 360, a move he won this competition with last year, but fails to qualify the pattern after the 360 this year.
Christian returns to pull off a qualifying run of 8x6, collecting the balls with his entire upper body.
Excellent use of the torso.
Yes.
Thomas tries again for the 8x6 360, makes the 360 but is unable to continue. That was the best Christian and Thomas were able to do, and the judges determined that Christian's qualifying run of 8x6 was third place material, Thomas's 8x6 360 to a collect was good enough for second place, and Vova Galchenko's 5-up 360 into 8x6 was the best we saw in the 7-ball freestyle competition.
The 5, 6, and 7 ring freestyle competitions were a head-to-head competition between the only 2 entrants, Thomas Dietz and Jason Garfield.
Yeah, now Jason Garfield is the president of the World Juggling Federation, and when a competition is lacking in competitors, He steps in to make sure there's still a competition and to prevent a win by default. In the 5-ring freestyle competition, Thomas Dietz starts off with a 5-up 720 attempt, but burns up on re-entry. Jason starts his first attempt off with a 5-up 360 connected to overhead throws, but doesn't qualify the overhead throws. This is a connection where being able to start moves with the left hand is what makes it possible, as Jason has to start the 360 with his left hand to directly connect to the overhead throws with his right hand.
Thomas lands the 5-up 720 on his second attempt, more than qualifying the pattern, ending with a pull-down and making sure Jason is aware of it. Jason then makes another attempt at the connection he tried before, pulling it off beautifully, and then continues with a 3-up 360 out of overhead throws and back into the basic pattern, ending with a pancake flip pull-down neck catch.
Thomas, knowing he's got to better that connection sequence, reprises his 5-up 720, connecting it to a run of 744s, regaining his control, and then ending with the pointless pull-down. Not that there's no reason for it, it just doesn't get any points.
Jason then tries a 5-up 720 just to shut Thomas up, but ends up shutting himself down by failing this move on his last 2 attempts.
But the judges determined that Thomas's 5-up 720 into 744 was not as difficult as Jason's connection sequence. Thomas gets second place for the 720 connection, and Jason Garfield gets first place for his left-handed 5-up 360 connected to right-handed overhead throws, connected to an overhead 3-up 360. But now look at that. Thomas's second place win puts him within 0.25 points of Vova's score in the quest for the overall championship. On to the 6-ring freestyle competition.
It didn't start off well for Dietz or Garfield, both failing at their first few attempts. Thomas attempting a high-low sync 360 but failing on the re-entry, and also failing on a 4-up sync 720.
Garfield failing on an attempt at a half shower and a 4-up 360 into a half shower, but pulls it together in the end to pull off a 6-up async 360 and easily qualifying the pattern.
Well, it's an easy job for the judges. Garfield gets first place in the 6-ring freestyle for his 6-up 360, and Thomas gets 0 points for not completing any moves, which I'm sure Vova was thrilled about.
Alright, on to the last freestyle ring event. The tables were turned in the 7-ring freestyle competition. Garfield failed at his 7-up 360 attempts, executing the spin but not quite able to qualify the pattern afterward. Dietz attempted qualifying runs of an 8x6 pattern, failing on his first 2 attempts and then qualifying it on the 3rd attempt and winning the 7-ring freestyles competition.
Oh, and look at that. This win puts Thomas ahead of Vova in the overall championship. Maybe Vova should think about practicing rings.
Well, nothing illustrates that better than how it affects him here, but he may make up for it in the club freestyle events. Starting with 3 clubs, Christian Vonvik attempts a connection from reverse shoulder throws into a quasi-blind catch and then a 360, but misses the final catch and falls down. I guess now we can say European jugglers fall down and not just Germans.
Toby goes up next with a position I haven't seen anyone else try.
No, this is new.
Yeah, we'll call this froggy-style juggling, I suppose.
That works, I guess.
Yeah, Toby misses his 6th catch of froggy-style juggling required to qualify the pattern.
Thomas tries for a 3-club back-cross 720, but drops on the 2nd throw. Christian returns with the same move and nails the entire sequence from the reverse shoulder throws through the 360. Toby then demonstrates some of his signature creativity by using his head and upper body to throw the clubs off of. Next up, Thomas tries again for the 3-up back cross 720 and connects it right into flat throws, correcting just 1 overspun throw of the 720.
Christian then comes back with his reverse under the leg throws connected to back crosses.
Toby comes back with more body moves, this time flipping each left-handed throw over his shoulder, around the back of his head, and then flipping over his right shoulder into his right hand.
On Thomas's next attempt, he pulls off a 1-up, 2-up reverse spin sync 360, followed by another 360 after the first 2 catches and connected to flat throws with a full spin after each catch. Christian then attempts a back cross whirlwind, but makes his throws a bit too wide to catch.
Toby reprises his froggy-style juggling, this time qualifying the pattern, even with a collision off his gluteus maximus.
You don't see that too often.
Think of how many hours a day he has to be in this position to work on this move.
It pains me just to think of that.
Makes my back hurt just to watch.
Reminds me of the Scoliosis Juggling Championships of '82.
I think that was '83. Next up, Thomas tries again for the 3-up back cross 720, probably in an attempt to connect to another move, but after the first 360, realizes that all his throws were too wide and then bails on trying to even make one catch. He then ducks for cover in case more clubs came down than he actually threw.
That happens sometimes. Toby comes back using his head this time, throwing clubs to a guided forehead pass to the other side. Sometimes he's just headbutting the clubs, sometimes he's actually cushioning and carrying them over with his forehead. Either way, I'd say this move counts for something.
Absolutely. And in the final attempt of the first set, Thomas doesn't disappoint. He attempts the same 2-up reverse sync 360 just as before, this time trying to end with a 720 and failing, but he falls down for us again, which you know we can't get enough of, and thereby not disappointing.
He's such a good German. Round 2, Wes Peden, Vova Galchenko, and a new WJF competitor, Joe Showers.
Vova starts off with an attempt at a 3-up 540 directly connected to body throws and just barely misses one of the body throw catches. It was right there, he just barely got away from him.
Next up, Wes Peden attempts a 3-up 720 in flats connected to his own version of shoulder rolls. Joe Showers makes his first attempt by throwing too high and then catching the third club on the shell and throwing it behind his back in a half rotation, crossing in front of his body back to the same side from where he threw it and then making a behind the back catch with his left hand.
Almost gets it too, just drops on the first high throw. Vova returns to nail the 540 into body throws and does so effortlessly. That is hard.
No kidding.
Of course, Vova is the best club juggler in the world, so he makes it look easy, but I assure you, this is hard stuff. Wes returns to nail his first move as well, getting the 3-up 720 in flats connected to right-handed shoulder roll.
Joe Showers returns, but still has difficulty catching those too high throws. Vova comes back with a new move this time, continuous back crosses that are also caught behind the back, but he doesn't quite qualify it on this try.
Next up, Wes tries continuous shoulder rolls from both sides, but also can't make enough throws. Joe Showers takes his third attempt at the same move, and this time nails it. Anticipating the wide throw, he was ready for it, and he lunged to the left to keep everything in the air or in his hands.
Vova then lands his back crosses caught behind the back, qualifying with 6 catches. Then Wes tries a new move with a blind catch connected to a sink split 3-up 360 and nails it on the first attempt.
After an amazing display of 3 club moves, the judges determined that Toby's froggy-style juggling deserved 3rd place, Wes Peden's flats into shoulder rolls deserved 2nd, and Vova's amazing 3-up 540 into body throws takes 1st place, putting him back in the lead for the overall championship.
In the 4-club freestyle competition, Christian Von Vick starts off with a sequence all in flats connecting to 734s in flats on his first attempt. Toby then tries a 4-up sink split 360 into one-sided reverse spin splits, but fails to qualify after the 360. Thomas Dietz starts off his first attempt with a back cross head flip flat combo.
3 separate kinds of throws within 4 clubs, 1 back cross followed by 1 head flip and then a flat throw. Christian tries a parallel to front sequence, but doesn't get too far into it to see where it's going. Toby returns with the club balanced on his chin while he juggles 3. Then, as it falls off, he hits it with one of the clubs he's juggling, breaking it into 2 pieces, which then turns into a 5-object pattern, juggling 2 halves of a club with 3 other full clubs, but he doesn't make enough catches to qualify on this attempt.
Thomas comes back next and starts off in a shower pattern and attempts to connect 2 3-up 360s in the shower pattern, but doesn't make the catches for the second 360.
Christian tries this parallel to front pattern again, this time long enough for us to see what he's trying to do, but not quite long enough to qualify. Toby gives another attempt at the exploding club move, but the pieces go just out of arm's reach. Thomas starts again with the shower pattern, and then a 3-up 360 connected to high-low flat throws in a shower pattern, but doesn't make enough catches.
Christian moves on to a new move starting in the shower pattern and executing a high, middle, low stack, and then back into the shower pattern for 4 additional catches. Probably not enough throws to count, depends on how everyone else does.
Toby makes another attempt at the exploding club move, this time getting a much better separation, but bouncing a club out of his hand and failing to make the catches. Thomas returns to the shower pattern and the back-to-back 3-up 360s, and then connects them to flat throws, catching a few on the wrong side, ending up with a collision that almost took out the sound woman.
It's extreme. Anything can happen.
Anyone's in danger.
Yeah, keep your eyes open and your head up if you're going to be in the front row.
You'll be happy to know that she came out of this incident unscathed.
Well, that's good. Toby Walker gives one final attempt at the exploding club balance move and comes really close, but not quite.
Very, very close, though. Thomas also gives one final attempt at the move that almost killed, this time changing it up a bit. A 3-up 360 out of the shower pattern, connected to another 3-up 360, this one in flats, and then continuing in flats for 5 additional throws.
There's probably something in there worth something.
Perhaps, but there's still the second set, starting with Vova Galchenko, who starts with an attempt at a 4-up 360, 2-up split quarter turn right into a 3-up shower 360, and just barely misses one of the catches. Wes Peden then goes for a balance to back cross, back to balance combo, and falls short of maintaining the final balance of the sequence.
Joe Showers tries for a 3-up high while passing the other club from hand to hand behind the back and over the opposite shoulder. Vova tries the same move he previously missed on and misses on it again. Seems like everything is in place, just not quite making the catch for some reason.
Wes tries again on the balance to back cross to balance, but also misses again. And Joe also tries and misses again on the same move. But on his third attempt, Vova lands the 4-up 360, 2-up split 90 into a 3-up 360 in a shower pattern, and continuing in a qualifying run in a shower pattern and ending with ease.
Amazing. Wes tries the balance to back cross to balance move again, and this time maintains the balance and ends clean. Joe Showers didn't have much luck in any of his other attempts and failed to land his move.
Between the two sets of competitors, the judges placed Vova's 4-up 360 shower connection sequence in third place, Thomas's 360 flat shower sequence in second place, and Wes Peden's balance to back cross to balance sequence in first place.
Thomas and Vova are now tied for first place. Let's see who's going to jump ahead in the 5-club freestyle competition.
Christian Vonvik starts the competition with an attempt at a quasi-blind catch from multiplex throws, but misses the quasi-blind catch. Toby Walker then tries a 4-up multiplex 360 and has to bail and duck to keep from getting hit in the face. Look at that. If he hadn't moved in time, he would have been hit in the face with that lightweight plastic club.
Thomas Dietz comes out next and pulls off 4 right hand throws in flats and then drops. Probably wasn't all he was trying to do. Maybe we'll see more from his next attempt.
Christian Vonvik tries again at the multiplex throws into the quasi-blind catch and ends with a not-so-quasi-drop. Toby tries again for the 4-up multiplex 360 and pulls it off, but fails to connect to what looked like it was going to be a 3-up 360. Maybe we'll see more of this sequence on his next attempt as well. Thomas Dietz completes a 2-stage 720 and tries to connect it to one-sided flat throws, but doesn't quite make enough catches.
Christian Vonvik makes his third attempt, this time making the quasi-blind catch and a few multiplex throws after, showing he can use the whole stage and still not drop anything. And as you can hear, the audience can tell when the competitors do something they like.
Toby tries again for the 4-up multiplex 360, but has less luck this time. Thomas tries for a 5-club shower pattern, but has a collision between the 6th and 7th throws, and he is unable to save the pattern. Christian then amazed us all with a qualifying run of flats, and then connects to a 3-up 360 all in flats, and back into flats for, unfortunately, only 4 throws, which doesn't qualify the 360. If he had made 6 more throws, that would have probably been the most difficult move we've seen so far.
Toby decides to move on to another move and gets 10 overhead throws and then tries to connect to a cross arm pattern, but doesn't make the connection. He should still get points for the overhead throws, though.
I would think so. Thomas as well moves on to a new move and tries a 3-up, 2 between the legs thrown in sync, but can't manage to re-enter the pattern. Set 2 continued with Vova Galchenko and Wes Peden. Vova started off with the same move Thomas ended with in failure, pulling it off on his first attempt, a brazen slap in the face of the German.
Ouch. Wes Peden makes his 5-club freestyle debut with an attempt at a 5-up 360 connected to flat throws, but doesn't get enough flat throws to qualify. Vova returns for his second turn, executing a 5-up 720 connected to single rotations of the club.
Look at that. All 5 up, 2 spins, and then right into single rotations. 2 moves in a row with no drops so far.
Wes Peden returns for another attempt at the same move, but still can't quite get it together. Vova comes back again with yet another new move, this time connecting a 5-up 180 right into an over and back double 180. These are 2 very difficult moves connected back to back with no basic juggling in between.
Look at this again. This is really amazing. The 5-up 180 and then 3 throws, 2 going behind him and 1 going straight up. Vova makes the first 180, throws the remaining 2 clubs in his hands back over his head, catches the 2 that first went behind him, then makes the second 180 to catch the 2 clubs he just threw behind him, and then catching the high throw that was up in the air during both 180s, and resumes the basic juggling pattern.
3 nearly impossible moves in a row, all on the first attempt of each.
Wow. Well, he is the club champion 2 years in a row now, and he's going strong on his third. But then Wes tries a new move. 2 sets of synchronous back crosses called scissor throws connected right into a 6x4 pattern. And as you can tell from the crowd reaction, that was hard. And the judges knew it. The judges awarded Christian Vonvik's quasi-blind club catch 3rd place, Wes Peden's scissors into 6x4 2nd place, and Vova Galchenko's 5-up 180 into an over and back double 180 1st place, putting him back in the lead for the overall championship.
Coming up next are the full ball, ring, and club programs. 3 minutes per competitor, 3 minutes per category. This competition is the most strictly judged of all the WJF competitions.
That's right, so strict in fact that we need 2 sets of judges to ensure that these events are scored accurately. These sets of judges are called the A jury and the B jury. The A jury scores each juggling move in real time. Competitors submit their routine in advance to the judges to help in the scoring process. Competitors can do up to 30 moves per routine. Connecting moves get connection bonus points, which are calculated by adding the sum of the value of the 2 moves that are connected together and then dividing in half. The more connections, the higher the score.
The B jury only takes deductions. They use deductions valued on a scale of 1 to 5 depending on how large of an error they feel the competitors made. 1 to 3 being minor to moderate foot movements, uneven and sloppy patterns, and collisions. Drops are valued at a 4, and if you're German, you too could get a 5-point deduction for falling down.
The total points from the B jury are deducted from the A jury's score, and the resulting total is the competitor's final score.
Now before we get back to the competition, let's take a few moments to get to know a little more about why the competitors have chosen to dedicate their lives to juggling.
Why would they do that?
I'm not sure. It makes no sense to me.
I like to see myself get better at juggling, and I think it looks really cool.
It takes a certain amount of time just to keep your skill level, then to be able to improve. It's the time that you put in over this amount of time that actually makes you improve.
I train 6 to 7 days a week, between 6 and 7 hours a day.
When you practice many hours per day and your practice is going worse, then it makes you really angry.
When you drop a lot, it's very uncomfortable.
It can be annoying.
I throw the club against the wall.
And it's very easy to take it out on the props.
I jump on the club.
And maybe sometimes it's a good thing if you can afford that.
Break the clubs. Usually when I get angry, my juggling gets worse, or something or someone gets hurt.
Like normally I'm not really a person with a high temper, but juggling can often make me really angry.
And when I have a good day, I do a hard trick, and I got it on the first try. Then I'm so happy, that's amazing. I try to stay calm. It usually helps my juggling more when I stay calm than when I get angry.
When you have a good day, you're like landing a trick for the first time, or you get a new record or something, then it makes you really happy. And that's the best part of juggling.
I really like juggling. I love the way it feels when I learn a new trick or invent something.
I don't think people realize how physical it can be.
There's so much concentration that goes into it.
We work with our body, we work with our time, and we put a lot of effort in what we do.
A lot of people don't realize how hard juggling really is. Like, it looks like stuff just kind of flies through the air and falls in my hands perfectly. They feel like it's pretty easy to do, and that's not always the case. Well, that's never the case, really.
You need to constantly be thinking about what you're doing, where the clubs are going to go, if they're going to hit you, where you're going to move your hands next, what trick I should be going into next.
It can be harder if you have the adrenaline pumping in your body. That it's actually harder to make the props go how you want them to go.
People think you just throw it and it automatically falls to your hand, because that's what it looks like.
Now we have so much internet, so much computer, so much special effects, that when you do something real, it's like, oh, only 7 balls. I saw in a movie like, no, real things.
Then we bring the prize money for the next overall title to $1 million. Then juggling is popular like skateboarding.
I think people will start practicing like crazy,
all the competitors would start practicing harder, and there'd be more competitors as well.
Everyone would be practicing a lot harder. Everyone would probably be putting maybe 8 or 9 hours of practice in a day.
We are real persons doing difficult things. We try to manipulate objects, to have control in life. People drop their plates and their glasses when they eat, and it's only one glass and one plate. Yeah.
Well, it's not quite $1 million on the line this year, but $7,000 in prize money is more prize money than has ever been offered for juggling before. 3 times as much as was given away last year.
It's a slow climb, but at this rate, it'll get to $1 million by late 2007.
Certainly. And now, continuing on with the quest for the overall championship, we're about to get started with the last 3 remaining competitions.
These are the big ones, with total scores from each competition going as high as 10 points. And we'll be starting with the advanced ball competitions in just a moment.
This moment in Diablo is brought to you by Duncan Toys. In addition to the juggling of balls, rings, and clubs, the WJF strongly supports and encourages the highest level of Diablo manipulation, and this year's competition brought a strong force of competitors from Taiwan and the UK. The UK's Norby Whitney started off the competition demonstrating a double sprinkler hyperloop to a stick release exit. Boy, if you thought the terminology in the juggling competitions was hard to follow, you are not going to enjoy Diablo.
Norby then smoothly transitioned into a Feeding the Sun arm stall to a stick release.
The first of 3 Taiwanese competitors, Ting Chia-su, exhibited a solid level of technique with a single to double sprinkler to single big sun sprinkler with a 360 exit. I have no idea what I just said.
Patty Yishe Liao included solid over-the-leg switches with a recapture to a 180 and then a genocide 180. And then a 2-high finishing move with a 1-high double duocide throw and catch.
Last year's champion, William Wei Liang Lin, returned to defend his title and did so with style and an even higher level of skill than in 2005. Highlighting his routine, we see William flawlessly manipulate 2 Diablos into a triple sprinkler entry to a single sprinkler with a 360 sun exit, then a 2 Diablo freehand slow side, and then continues with a 2 Diablo double sprinkler with a 360 stick release exit.
William also demonstrated some choreography to the music with a 2 Diablo fan to an underside arm stall to a multiple stick release vortex exit. And then finishing off with a flurry of 2 and 3 Diablo moves, including a 1-high-low double sun, a whip catch to a jump rope exit.
And then continuing with a 3 Diablo low shuffle with Chinese acceleration, a low shuffle between the arm sun, and ending with a low shuffle between the arm sun to an arm stall, and then an arm leg stall. And if that makes no sense to you, well, you're normal.
But the people who came up with this terminology are not.
So after all the sprinklers, hyperloops, genocides, slow-asides, duocides, big arm suns, vortex, and stick release exits, Norby Whitney received 4th place, Patty Yishe Liao 3rd, Ting Chia-su 2nd, and in 1st place for the 2nd year in a row, Taiwan's William Wei Liang Lin. And now, continuing on with the quest for the overall championship, we're about to get started with the last 3 remaining competitions.
These are the big ones, with total scores from each competition going as high as 10 points.
Balls, rings, and clubs, separate competitions for each. Right now we have Vova in 1st place with 9 points, Thomas in 2nd place with 8.5 points, Jason and Wes tied for 3rd with 3 points each, but the results of these next 3 competitions can change all that around.
And it looks like we're kicking off the ball competition with the 2004-2005 club champion, Vova Galchenko.
I would like people to be equally exposed to all the different kinds of juggling and pick for themselves which they like. I can understand why people confuse entertainment and all this other associated stuff with juggling. Stuff like comedy or magic or circus or being a clown and all of that. It doesn't exactly bother me because it's not really their fault, because that's how they've been exposed to juggling, and it's our job to expose them to different kinds of juggling. And so I can understand where they're coming from, even though they're wrong.
Vova has a few opinions about jugglers.
Even though they're wrong.
He's practiced ball juggling on and off for years, but it should be interesting to see how well he does in his first full ball program.
Starting off with 2 3-up 180s, followed by a 3-up 360, all connected. Oh, nice. A full 5-up 360 and 6x4 connected to 6-4x. I love that transition, that 4-up multiplex into the shower and stack shower.
That is nice. He does it so smoothly.
Yeah.
And back to the basic cascade. There's a 5-up 360. 3-up 720. Very nice form on those moves.
There's a 2-stage 720 with a little bit of walking around on the re-entry, but not horrible.
And you can see here that Vova is so far the only competitor comfortable enough to leave his equipment bag on the stage while he competes.
Yeah, that makes for a quick getaway, I suppose.
And so far, a pretty clean routine with no drops.
Moving on to 6 balls. Switching to the sync pattern, which you do get points for connecting if you don't stop juggling to change the pattern.
Oh, nice. Into a 4-up 360, connected right into a half shower.
Connecting into 9 555s. Oh, there's a drop. I think just a lapse of concentration maybe there.
Yeah, you notice some drops are definitely due to bad throws, collisions, difficulties with the pattern, and sometimes it's simply a ball that falls right out of your hand.
Yep. Oh, but then dropping, trying to transition back into the basic pattern, which he would have gotten more connection bonus points for. But everything up until that point is still added to his score.
Now moving on to a 6-ball shower, more than qualifying the pattern, and a clean finish. That's a rare move to see in competition.
Yeah. Picking up the 7th ball now.
Well, you saw how solid his 7-ball pattern was in the isolated endurance competition, and it's even better when he's on the floor.
Wow.
Look at that.
Nice. And another clean finish. Not a bad routine. It got a little bumpy in the 6-ball segment, but nothing he didn't recover from.
Now let's take a look at the 6-ball transition. 4 go up, the first 2 straight up in sync, and the other 2 crossing in a half shower pattern, which sets him up so that after he spins around, the pattern is perfectly placed to then transition into a half shower, which he does very well here.
So Vova scores a 6.7, bringing his total first place score to 15.7. Thomas still in second place with 8.5 points, and Wes and Jason tied in third with 3 points each.
Up next will be Christian Vonvik. First time in America, first time in the WJF competitions, and the first time Norway has been represented in the WJF.
Well, it bothers me that people think that when you drop, even if they just see you practice, they just think you're bad. And I think if you should never do mistakes, you would have to take your juggling to a lower level. Like most people, they don't really know that juggling can be harder when you come to new temperatures, different light, or all the outside factors that makes it harder to juggle. The background, it can be wind, and those kind of things. And then also they don't see that it can be harder if you have the adrenaline pumping in your body, that it's actually harder to make the props go how you want them to go. Many think that juggling should be done in only one way. They only like to see one way of juggling. I think it's important to accept many different kinds of styles of juggling. In general, I think a lot of people, they like to see people being skilled at something. And by watching juggling in a competition, they can see who's the best. I think the WJF is doing a really good job at reaching its goals. You see the technical level of juggling advancing very fast, and even the general public starts to get an interest in juggling from watching it on television.
He does bring up a good point. A lot of people have been exposed to technical juggling due to these WJF competitions.
Yeah, the sport juggling is definitely different than comedy juggling or the kind of juggling you'd see in the circus.
Yeah, this is not really the type of juggling you'd see somebody performing on a cruise ship or some other Las Vegas venue.
Christian Vonvik.
Starting off with a power move here, a 3-up 360, and drops on his first move.
Well, he really does make that move look like it takes a lot of power.
Well, that is a lot of mass to spin around.
Yes, it is. There's a 5-up 360 connected to a 3-up 360.
Look at how much he uses his arms. He's really throwing with his whole arm rather than from the elbow or using wrist.
I have to say, it's not a very comfortable looking form of juggling or style. It's a lot of effort, a lot of energy is going into each throw. One thing to note is the type of ball that he's using is actually, they are filled with sand. It's a
hollow ball.
Yeah, hollow ball filled with a certain amount of sand. So when you see them drop, you'll notice they pretty much stop right where they land. They don't do a lot of rolling. I think this type of ball was invented or originated in Russia.
Sure is muscular. One of the larger of the competitors that we've had.
Quite large. Meat eater.
Oh, and a 2-stage 720. Might have actually been a little cleaner than Vova's.
Oh, some back crosses with balls. You don't see that too often.
This is Christian's first time competing in a WJF event. We may be seeing a little bit of nerves showing here.
He does bring up a good point about different venues offering up different challenges, whether it's the ceiling color or the ceiling height, or whether even air conditioning can affect the juggling pattern.
Moving on to 6 balls now, starting with the basic pattern of 3 in each hand. 4-up 360 and a drop on the re-entry. Resetting probably to try it again.
Wow.
Oh, and a collision resulting in 2 dropped balls. And this is why all the competitors use bean bags or non-bouncy balls. If he'd had that collision with silicone balls, they would have bounced off into the audience, never to be seen again.
Again, this type of trick is not to take away from the difficulty of it, but this type of ball, that trick is made a lot easier. I guess I am taking away from the difficulty of it.
Let's just say these kinds of balls are made for moves like that.
Yes.
There's a couple of 955s, but no connection back into the half shout. Moving on to 7 balls.
Not a very clean pattern.
See if he's going to try a different pattern. Yeah, there he goes. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Ends up on the floor.
I did not. That was an interesting choice.
That is the largest deduction you can get right there.
Yeah, and I believe he connected those 2 deductions, the drop and the fall, so he should get a deduction connection bonus.
I'm not quite sure it works that way, but it kind of makes sense. So let's check out that ending again and see what happens. So he tries to catch that last ball on top of all the other balls he's holding to press it up against his chest, but loses another ball that rolls down and off his arm. Trying to avoid the drop penalty, he then makes one last effort to keep the ball from hitting the floor, but loses his balance, ends up falling over, dropping the 2 balls and himself. I suppose that sideways somersault was just to make it look more graceful.
You just don't see that too often.
No.
No.
One of the few competitors with the confidence to end his routine with a fall to the floor.
So Christian scores a 3.99, giving him a total of 4.49 points, advancing him up to 3rd place with Vova and Thomas still in the lead.
Okay, Toby Walker from Wales has now entered the competition floor. Let's find out what bothers Toby the most about juggling.
I think the thing that bothers me most about what people think of juggling is they don't really differentiate between what jugglers are and what clowns do. They don't really understand how difficult juggling is. I probably want everyone to know just how difficult it is, really, and just to educate. I think if people do see this kind of technical juggling, then they would get turned on to it and they would enjoy it for what it looks like in competition, because it looks really pretty. I think people who think that juggling can only be done one way, they don't really understand all forms of juggling can coexist. So therefore, that's kind of rather closed-minded, I think. My motivation really is to try out new things. If I see something I like, I'd want to reproduce that and maybe add my own personal twist to whatever I've seen.
Gentlemen, Toby Walker.
He does bring up another fine point in that people don't realize just how difficult this is. There are so many thousands of hours that go into just creating these routines and being able to perform perform them.
These jugglers are spending as much time on this as any athlete you see in any sport.
Yeah.
And there again we see the 4-up multiplex into a high-low shower. And then attempting for a double shower under a high shower, but bailing out because it was a little shaky.
Resetting and starting the shower pattern over again. Going into a multiplex shower pattern. Oh, and then right into a 3-up 360.
Ooh, that's too bad. That was executed beautifully, too. Oh, and an even worse error this time, a mid-air collision, drop and roll off the leg.
Executing a 3-up 180 into a 5-up 180, then into a 3-up 360, followed by a 5-up 360.
Now that was done perfectly. Not one mistake there.
Oh wow, that was a powerful connection. That was a 5-up 360, catching the last 4 balls thrown first and the first ball thrown last, connecting right into a 7-4-4 pattern, and then a 9-7-5 360 to complete the sequence.
He's got to be happy with that.
No kidding.
Those are huge scoring connections. Now going into overhead throws. Oh, another collision and a drop. You know, he seems much improved in his ball juggling skill this year, but he's just suffering from some random mistakes.
Yeah, you know, maybe it's just the nerves getting to him.
That does happen. But then getting his overhead sequence on the second attempt. Oh yeah, there's another one right there. Very easy moves, just incorrect placement in the air. As good as those previous connection sequences were, these errors are dropping his score dramatically at this point.
Oh, I cannot believe he pulled that off.
That was well done. Well, almost well done.
Yeah, it almost looked like he made that up as he went.
And another drop on a 2-stage 720 attempt.
You know, he may not be warmed up enough because he seems to get most of these moves on his second attempt. There he goes, getting the 2-stage 720 on the second attempt.
Yeah, you may be right. Quickly getting a 6th and 7th ball. Starting right in with 8x6, and almost predictably now, another drop.
That's too bad. Just a few more minutes of warming up might have helped. And also predictably getting it on the second attempt. If he had just skipped the first try and went to the second, he would have had a flawless routine.
Intriguing strategy. Let's check out this connection sequence again. There's a 3-up 180 connected to a 5-up 180, connected to a 3-up 360, connected to a 5-up 360. That's how you get the most out of these moves, by connecting them together.
So Toby scores a 5.83, bringing his total to 6.83 and pushing him ahead to third place.
When we come back, first-time WJF competitor Marco Paoletti puts his skills to the test. And then reigning overall champion Thomas Dietz defends his title. We'll be back in a moment.
Okay, we're back and continuing with the WJF ball competition in the quest for the overall championship. I'm Owen Morse.
And I'm John Wee. And Argentina's Marco Paoletti is about to compete.
Well, when I started preparing my routine for the WJF was like 2 years ago. I started doing pirouettes because of the WJF. I started training and I tried to figure out what was the most difficult combinations of the tricks I had and how to do it continuously. That's when I understood a little bit more the concept of sport juggling. Like, it's really lots of trick, intense moment. It's like running 100 meters. It's like all together in one moment. And to really get a routine and get it through, breathing correctly, it took me 8 months. And now I'm finally here. The convention is being awesome till the moment. Everything is going okay. We are all jugglers and we are a community and everybody's friendly, especially in the US. It's so nice. When they like something, they come and tell you. Everything is much more friendlier than I thought. Here people I've never seen, the tricks I've seen the last 3 days here in the WJF, the level is so high and that's what people like. Now with the WJF, people are trying harder stuff and technical stuff. And I know lots of people that now they call themselves sport jugglers, but lots of people. In Chile, it's amazing. I have lots of friends that tell me, I'm not anymore a juggler, now I'm a sport juggler. And they dress like sport jugglers. And they juggle like sport jugglers. And so lots of people are following this new path. I practice every day and I try to get better every day because that's how I live my life. In everything I do, I try to be better, everything. It's not about juggling, it's about how you live your life. I try to be better in my life, in everything. And learning languages, in how do I talk, reading books. If you are living your life without improving yourself every day, what do you live for? Juggling is the same. Every day you try to be better. Every day you try to do better tricks, new stuff. It's life.
Well, there's a man who clearly lives for juggling.
He really does, and he's quite likable. Very friendly fella.
See how he does here.
Technique.
Now Marco's starting off with a 5-ball 645 into a 3-up 360 connected to 744s.
He's the only competitor using green balls. Oh my, okay. A little out of control there.
It is nice to see new competitors come out and join seasoned professionals. Some sight swap combinations here.
Some very nice tricks. He's moving around a bit.
Oh.
We may be seeing some nerves from a first-time competitor. He seems to be stringing together a lot of easy sight swap patterns. He may get connection bonuses, but they won't be worth much.
Yeah, you can see when the patterns get higher and he attempts the 360s, his accuracy decreases. One of the main training exercises is simply practicing how high you can juggle without moving your feet. If you can juggle high and have the balls come back to you without moving around, you've made accurate throws.
Oh my.
Yeah, sometimes you just get in that mode and you just can't escape it. You get in your own head and oh my
Once
gosh.
the mistakes start coming, they keep coming.
Yeah, it's tough to get away from them. Oh, there's a collision, no drop, but that will be a deduction as well.
He does have some very nice tricks. Just not sure if he's leaving us in suspense as to whether it's going to happen successfully.
Right.
Technique.
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
He got out of that.
Yes, he did.
All right, and I'm not sure why he's on a knee. Let's see what's coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I guess that does put him closer to the floor.
He gets no additional points for doing it on his knees, so he's making the move more difficult for no reason. If anything, he'll be deducted for being on his knees when he doesn't need to be.
Kneeling saves the back, I think.
Moving on to 6 balls now in what we call the wimpy pattern, synchronized throws in a crossing pattern, and fails on an attempt at a 4-up 360 in the wimpy pattern.
Called the wimpy pattern because it's the easiest pattern to juggle 6 balls.
Oh.
He's littering the stage at this point.
Well, there he quasi-qualified a run of 9 555s in a half-shower pattern, but not getting any connection points at the end back into any other pattern.
Creativity is white.
And then trying it again for some reason, running out of time, and then dropping 3 of them. Now, even though time was called, deductions are still taken for as long as the competitor continues to juggle, but they can't get any points added to their score. That is, of course, to encourage the competitors to stop when their time is up to keep the show moving. But I mean, a really nice guy.
So you can see looking back here that Marco suffered from several inaccurate throws, major foot and arm movements, and drops.
Marco ends up with a 3.91, bringing his total up to 5.16, advancing him from 7th place into 4th. Finishing off the ball competition is Germany's Thomas Dietz.
Many people, when they hear juggler, they think on street jugglers or jugglers in the circus and on clownery and magic. Yeah, I'm not a clown. I'm a juggler, I'm a sports juggler. Yeah, the problem is public don't understand the tricks. How hard is that trick? How hard is it to do that trick on the first try on the stage without drops? Everybody should know how to call the juggling props. Balls, clubs and rings. Not like bowling pins or something like that. Juggling is my job and juggling is my life. The most important thing juggling gives me is appreciation from other people. I meet so many nice people around the world. Yeah, the last days before the juggling competition begins, I was really nervous. I can't sleep in the night. My last practice session was very bad. But after the flight, when I meet Jason on the airport, I was happy. And then the first thing, I drive to the gym and go practice. And then I saw Jason practice and so many other good jugglers. And then I was happy to be here. The hairstyle is, yeah, that's the German flag.
Well, continuing on with the competitor complaint interviews, it seems they all feel the same way and are working toward achieving the same goal of more exposure for their sport.
Well, I'm not sure if the new hairstyle helps or not, but he's the 2005 overall champion, so we'll cut him some slack on that, I guess. Okay, here we go, starting off with 7 balls this year. And executing a very clean 5-up 360 on his first attempt and keeping the pattern going well past a qualifying run. And then a B6666, just perfect.
And you can tell that makes him very happy.
Going into a half shower, 9-5-5-5, then B5-5-5-5-5. Oh, having to bail on it. Not a horrible error, minor deduction. I just realized Thomas isn't wearing any shoes.
Is he? That's you are correct, sir.
Just socks.
And the interesting thing about his socks are they are different colors, aren't they?
They don't quite match, do they?
No.
Offhand, I'd have to say that is probably the longest and highest scoring 6-ball routine we've ever seen in competition.
All right, now going into his 5-ball routine, starting with some 180s and 360s connected to a half shower that transitions immediately into a waterfall.
And then right into a multiplex 360 connected to 6x4 with another 360 in the new pattern, 2 in a row.
It seems to me that his shoulders have leveled out a little bit more this year, and perhaps that he's watched the video of previous years.
It is possible, because we've really commented that on last year, his awkward stance where his shoulders are a little uneven.
Setting up a stack of multiplex throws, and into an over and back double 180, and then finally we see the basic pattern for the first time.
And that's only to set him up for the 1 high, 4 low, 5-up 360, executed perfectly on the first try.
Going for another 7-ball move with his remaining time.
Well, at this point, I'd say he's won it, so he's only taking an unnecessary risk now.
Oh, and a risk it was, dropping on an 8x6 pattern.
Picking up and resetting to try it again.
And he qualifies it on his second attempt and finishes clean, ending with several of those Dietz signature poses we'll most likely freeze frame on in the end credits.
That has got to be the most difficult and perfectly executed ball routine ever performed anywhere in the entire world throughout the history of time. We're truly seeing the best juggling has ever been right here. Let's take a look back. Of course, there's that solid as a rock 5-up 360 with 7 balls. Looks like he may be ready for a 7-up 360 next year.
And there's the over and back double 180, followed by the 1 high, 4 low, 5-up 360. 2 amazing moves back to back.
I can't even believe what we're seeing here. Well, and there's no surprise here. Thomas scores a 9.33, bringing his total score up to 17.83, passing up Vova and placing Thomas in the lead. Here's Thomas Dietz once again, starting off the ring competition.
Thomas starting off again with 7.
Looks pretty solid.
Yep, and that's about it. Just a clean run and a pull down.
Moving down to 6 in the basic pattern, and then going into a crossing pattern. Then into a sync non-crossing pattern.
4 up 360. 4 up 180. And it looks like that's it for his 6 ring routine.
Moving on to 5 rings now. 2 connected 180s connected to a 3 up 360.
Now this move I really don't know if it does or should score any points. The skill level in this is very basic.
Oh, that's why. Thomas always has to work in that ring twirl that scores exactly 0 points.
Mission accomplished. Back to moves that actually score points. Some one-sided overhead throws into 744s, into a 975 360, and then back into 744s.
Connected to 6x4 and a 3 up 6x4 360. This is looking very similar to his ball routine.
But still, rings are a whole different discipline, so the moves are equally valuable in this competition.
There's a 3 to 5 up 2-stage 720. That's one he didn't do with balls.
And another 975 360 and a 5 up 360. Oh, and his first drop with rings.
Yeah, and just on a basic 5 up 360. Not a difficult move for him, just a momentary loss of concentration. There we go, there's the 5 up 360, and then the 975 31. Oh, just one though. I do believe you have to connect at least 2 together to score any points for a 975 31.
There's a half shower turning in a circle, and a 3 up 360 and back into a half shower, although not a direct connection since he had one basic throw in between.
And another pull down, which I believe scores no points.
Okay, he's getting 2 more and going back to 7. Oh, trying for a 966 and an almost immediate drop. This would score high since it's a move within a 7-ring pattern.
Well, looks like he's going to try for it again. Oh, makes the 966 and oh, drops again trying to qualify the pattern.
And he says, that's it.
Good enough.
Check, please.
I'm out. Smart move. That was a fairly decent ring routine. Nothing groundbreaking, but gives Garfield something to work with. Let's take a look back at this connection attempt. And you can see here the 3 up 360, but then there's a basic throw with the right, and then he starts the half shower with the second throw coming out of his left. For this to be a true connection, the half shower would have to start with the first throw from his left immediately after the 360. Or he would have to start the 360 with his right hand, and then start the half shower with his left. Thomas scores an 8.71, and now bringing his first place total to 26.54. Vova still in second, and Toby still in third.
Up next is the only man standing in the way of a ring competition victory for Thomas, Jason Garfield.
And again, Garfield only entering the competition so that there will be a competition. Now, Jason has not practiced for the past year, and in fact did not even get a chance to warm up for this competition since he was operating the center camera for the entire competition, including Thomas's ring routine.
Starting off with 2 connected 180s, 2 connected 360s.
And there's a 5 up connected to a 3 up, connected to a 5 up, all 360s. Jason did compete in 2004 and was beaten by Thomas in the ring competition, so you could say that this is a head-to-head rematch.
And a 3 up 720. He looks comfortable, but the patterns are a little shaky. Facing the front now and going into a half shower. A little bit of traveling across the stage.
Yeah, a year without practice will result in less accurate throws than desired. He might not drop much, but he'll probably be increasing his deduction total with all the saves he's able to make. He's walking around a little more than I'm used to seeing from Jason.
Oh, and a first drop.
Oh, he's bailed on the full reverse, and now he's going for pancake throws. Gets 5 of them clean, and then back into the pattern.
And now moving on to 6 rings. Oh my gosh, there's,
Yeah, that.
you know what those are? Those are snowflake throws.
No two throws are exactly alike. Trying for a 4-up 360, and lots of difficulties there. Spinning all the way around just to prevent the drop. It might have cost him less points just to let the thing hit the floor. Well, he's going for it again. Qualifies the pattern. Good, that counts now no matter what. He's amazingly keeping this together.
I am very impressed. Going for the crossing pattern, but bailing before qualifying the pattern.
And apparently freaking out the trophy girl with one of those throws, enough to make her scream. Garfield just checking on her there to make sure she's okay.
And now on to 7 rings. Oh, and a 5-up 360. Back into the pattern. And a pull down.
Looking right in Thomas's eyes. And I believe that means he's done.
Pretty sure.
Considering he did that routine virtually cold, I'd say it wasn't half bad.
Well, it was at least half good, and the other half wasn't half bad either.
Right. Oh wait, what's he doing here?
I think he's asking if he has any time left, and he does.
Jason Garfield would like to now lower his score in his final 30 seconds by 8 rings.
Well, he's going for 8 rings here.
You gotta be kidding me.
Look at
that. He pulls it off.
A nice run of
16 catches.
8 rings.
That's gotta be huge points.
That was unexpected. Let's check that out again. There go the first 8 throws, and he's pretty solid there, not moving at all. Moves around a little bit in the end. Probably couldn't have gotten much more than 16 throws, but 16 was all he needed.
That pretty much did it.
And Jason scores a 9.37, bringing his total up to 12.37, putting him in 3rd place and knocking Toby into 4th. This moment in WJF Teams competition is brought to you by Duncan Toys. This year, the WJF Teams competition showcased 2 new teams and the returning 2004 team champions. Selby Schlossberg and Anna Kukevitz started off the competition demonstrating good control with 7 club ultimates as well as back-to-front patterns. Later, they went on to run 8 clubs in ultimates in sync, async, back-to-back, and ending with 9 clubs.
Andrew and David Stager made their WJF debut with some very impressive 6-club ultimate moves and connections, going from ultimate shoulder throws right into back crosses, with a 360 following up with more 360s, and then an individual 2-stage 720.
2004 team champions Olga and Vova Galchenko returned to competition together after taking almost 2 years off and reprised their award-winning moves and connections, including 7-club ultimate back crosses, the transition from front to back-to-back, their 8-club 4-up 360, and adding in 9-club ultimates for a very long run, and then, of course, finishing off with a run of 10 clubs. Still untouchable, Olga and Vova were awarded 1st place, Andrew and David Stager 2nd, Selby Schlossberg and Anna Kukevitz 3rd place.
We'll be back with our final event, the Advanced Club Competition, in just a moment.
Welcome back to the World Juggling Federation Overall Championship. I'm John Wee.
And I'm Owen Morse, and we're about to get started with our final event, the Advanced Club Competition.
While we wait for the competition to get started, we had a chance to ask the competitors about what place relationships have in the life of a competitive juggler.
The last 3 girlfriends I had, I broke up with them all because of juggling.
Well, she likes my juggling, but sometimes it can get too much.
I don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but I had my eyes on Jason and Vova for a really long time. I have a dog. Yeah, she's awesome.
The thing is like this. Normally when you have a girlfriend, you spend so much time juggling and you love so much what you do. You have so much passion on your juggling that they see that and it's like, hey, why don't you love me so much as like you're juggling? And it's like, because it's my juggling.
It's like when I come back from practice, I suggest you watch a juggling movie, and she says no, normally.
Sometimes when I'm practicing in the living room, I'll accidentally drop a club or whatever on her, and she doesn't enjoy that. But most of the time, as long as I'm at the gym and I've given her food, water, and a walk, then she's pretty down with the whole thing. but now I need a girlfriend. Okay, I'm Thomas Dietz, 24 years old.
When they put in the middle between my juggling and them, they lost. But I really love them a lot and stuff, but juggling, it's the best.
I'm looking for a girlfriend who can do 5-clap back crosses, 100 catches, and a 5-clap 5-up double pirouette.
Well, I don't have a girlfriend.
A boyfriend?
No, I don't have a boyfriend.
You really into yourself?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say that when it comes to most of these competitors, juggling is all they care about.
Yeah, you've got to be obsessed with being the best to get as good as these competitors, and that takes most of the waking hours of each day. And it looks like we're about to see how that obsession pays off for the WJF advanced competitors here in this final event of the overall championship.
We're starting off the club event with Norway's Christian Vanvik, starting off with a drop.
Ooh, that's not good. Another first-time WJF competitor. I hope we don't see the club version of Marco's ball routine here. Christian is a very good juggler, but if he lets his nerves take over, this could turn into a train wreck.
Well, we did see him fall down in the ball competition. Oh man, I think we're up to 3 drops in less than 30 seconds.
Well, there was a nice sequence of a few moves. His turns aren't very sharp. He kind of walks around for his 180s.
Yeah, a huge difference in technique from West, Thomas, and Vova.
There was a nice sequence of reverse shoulder throws into a quasi-blind catch between the legs.
And a 2-stage 720. A 3-up 720, a little wobbly, but currently avoiding the drops.
And a fancy little finish. Moving on to 4 clubs now with a 4-up multiplex start.
And a nice 2-up 360 into flat throws. His flat throws do look pretty good.
Very flat and consistent. Into a triple single pattern with some behind the back throws and flats thrown in.
And a 4-club shower while turning in a circle. Then onto a 2-up back cross 180, walking around again rather than making a sharp turn.
That's a new pattern there, throwing all parallel to front in a triple single pattern and a clean stop. Not bad.
Okay, moving on to 5 clubs now. Starting with one balance on his foot and the other on his head, juggling 3, then pulling the 2 balance clubs into the pattern.
A couple of 6-4-5s. Very nice, and back into the basic pattern.
I get the sense that he could almost be wearing casts on his arms.
Does he bend his elbow at all?
Well, there's another drop in a 5-club multiplex. A slightly overspun club that he couldn't quite get on the handle.
Pulls it off with a behind the back catch.
Slightly resembles the club multiplexing we've seen from Toby. Oh, and now going for flat throws, but dropping after just 3 throws.
Yeah, a very turbulent routine, suffering from a lot of drops, showing just how difficult it is to do these moves. Finally getting 8 flat throws. It'll be up to the judges to determine if that's worth anything, since he didn't actually qualify the pattern. And you notice with those back crosses, he has a bit of a whip motion behind, when he throws behind his back. He kind of cocks it and then throws it, which is
a little unorthodox.
Yeah, it doesn't seem very efficient. Here's one of my favorite moves that Christian did. These reverse shoulder throws look really cool. You usually only see it done this way when rewinding a video of someone doing shoulder throws. And this is another one of my favorites of Christian's moves, but also one of his more devastating errors, dropping and having to chase down your clubs, wasting time, and adding up the deductions.
So Christian gets a 4.95 for his club routine, bringing him up from 6th to 4th place with a score of 9.44.
Toby Walker is up next. Having shown a dramatic improvement in his ball juggling skills earlier, let's see how well he does in the club competition.
Starting out in a synced split pattern with 4 clubs. 2-up 360 into the same pattern with 1 throw on each side thrown as a flat.
Going up to a balance with chin rolls. Oh, then bouncing the club from his head to his lip, then flipping it off his head into a half shower pattern with flats.
You know, I wonder if that was meant to go to his lip and not his chin. A little point to the crowd, for some reason, which we have to emphasize gets no points.
No, in competition you're judged on juggling technique and execution alone, not on relating to the audience. It's more like a gymnastics floor routine.
Yeah, but without the posing and spandex.
Right. That's a high-scoring connection right there.
Connecting to a triple single pattern with back crosses and parallel to front throws. And that's his 4 club routine.
Look at that passing zone pretzel.
Yeah.
And into... Oh my!
Into an explosion of clubs. And this is one of my favorite moves. Those are quad spins right into flats.
Amazing.
Oh, a little shaky there. Quickly picking up and starting in single spins, but drops on the singles. We could see this whole routine start to fall apart if he can't get back on track here. Oh, some more collisions. I've seen him run this trick for many, many throws. I think he's maybe just a little nervous tonight.
Moving on to 6x4. Into 3 in one hand and 2 in the other. Oh, into a beautiful 3-up multiplex 360 and a clean finish. I believe that's a new move that Toby invented this year. You do get bonus points for original moves if they're also difficult.
Uh-oh. He's getting 2 more clubs.
There they come.
He's going to try for 7. Oh, drops after 6 catches. This is a very high-risk move here.
Yeah, he's got to nail it here or he gets no points for 7 clubs, but he does get the deductions.
And he does. Oh!
So close. He made 14 catches but dropped a few after. Technically, the judges can count that as a qualifying run of 7 clubs and the B jury will deduct for the drops regardless.
He's gone back to 5 clubs now, executing a 3-up 360, but not qualifying the pattern.
Oh, into an amazing 2-stage multiplex 360. That's another new one. He really is one of the more creative jugglers in sport juggling.
Oh, time is called. Now he should be stopping, but instead he went for a 5-up 360 and dropped, getting no points and at least a 4-point deduction.
Well, man, there were some great moments and some equally penalized moments. Let's check out this balance sequence. He's got the club on his head, then pops it up and catches it on his lip, and then flips it off his head into a half shower pattern.
And then here, going from 3 in one hand and 2 in the other, and then collecting 2 in the right hand and multiplexing 3 up into a 360, and then back into the basic pattern.
And just one more because it was so unique and amazing. The 2-stage multiplex 360. Who knows how he figured this out or if it'll ever even work again.
So Toby Walker receives a 4.91, bringing his final score up to an 11.74 and placing him currently in 4th.
Thomas Dietz.
Okay, here comes the determined German, Thomas Dietz, in his final competition this year.
Look at that, he just starts off with 6 clubs in the triple-double pattern.
Oh, there's Vova in the background warming up with 7 clubs. We'll see if he can qualify that this year in his routine.
Dropping down to 4 clubs now, alternating with flats and behind the back throws in sync, alternating flats and double and then triple spins on both sides, then singles on one side and triples on the other. A lot of different versions of essentially the same low-scoring moves here. Then flats from both sides from sync to async and into chin rolls.
Some continuous head flips. 4 up back crosses into every other flat throws from alternating sides. Boy, he sure is exploiting those flat throw connections. And then 4 up in back crosses, again connected to flat throws from both sides. And I think it's been nothing but handles so far.
Yeah, all handles all the time. A few more head flips with behind the back throws, and connected to 3 back crosses right into a shower pattern.
Oh, and a 3 up 360 in the shower pattern, connected to flat throws, still in the shower pattern, and a clean finish.
Okay, moving on to his 5 club routine now. Starting with a 3 up 360. And then going into 5 flat throws from the left hand, and then a 3 up 360 again, but not connected. There was one basic throw in between, and then he started the 360 with his left hand. To directly connect, he would have had to immediately start the 3 up 360 with his right hand following that last flat throw.
Getting in a head flip. 1 high and 4 low. Minor deduction for catching the club in the wrong end. Nice 5 up 360.
And a 3 up 180.
Qualifying the pattern and then stopping. Everything is drop free at this point.
Starting up again here, doing another head flip, not in connection with another move, so not worth any points. And I think that'll do it for Thomas.
A little anticlimactic, but obviously not for Thomas. It was a drop-free routine, a little too safe though, and not quite showing what he's really capable of. Let's take a look at those failed connections. Okay, here's the flats from the left hand. After the 5th flat, he then goes into a 3 up 360. But see that? Right there, he makes a basic throw with the right hand so that he can start the 3 up 360 with his dominant left hand. A true connection would have started the 360 from his right hand right after the last flat throw was released. And again here, the 5 flat throws from the left, and then again the right setup throw, and then starting the triple single pattern with his dominant left hand. To connect either of these moves, you have to become more balanced in your skill and be able to do at least one of the moves with the non-dominant hand.
Yeah, and he also took out the 5 club back crosses this year.
Yeah, it was a rather easy routine for WJF competition. We do want to see perfection, but not if the skill level isn't raising the bar. But having said that, Thomas scored an 8.71, putting him way ahead with a final overall score of 35.25.
2 more competitors to go, Wes Peden and Vova Galchenko, and then we will have an overall champion right after this.
Welcome back to the 2006 World Juggling Federation Overall Championship. It's time for the last 2 competitors in the final event. I'm John Wee.
And I'm Owen Morse, and next up is Wes Peden from the USA.
You can find a basketball anywhere. You can go to your local sporting goods store and pick up a skateboard, but you can't go like, hey, I'd like some BX3 juggling clubs. What kind of styles do you have? It takes a lot more motivation to be a juggler because you need to go out and find a place to get it, find a place that will actually let you practice. It's really, really exciting to me when I learn something new, especially when it's something that looks cool, which is one of the main reasons I do juggling, just because it looks really cool. I really go through the math on my routine writing. I try to figure out what tricks will connect to which ones to get the most amount of points. And a lot of other jugglers here, well, not some of them, but not all, do that. And the ones who don't, usually they get scored less and they just don't pay attention as much to the rules and just go up there and do their favorite tricks. And then they'll do like 1 throw short of qualifying, no points. They won't connect. And if they did connect, they would have gotten a lot more points. There's so much concentration that goes into it. It's not like running where you just run. With juggling, you need to constantly be thinking about what you're doing, where the clubs are going to go, if they're going to hit you, where you're going to move your hands next, what trick I should be going into next. There's just so much to think about. It's exhausting.
Now, Wes was amazing last year at 15 years old. I think Wes is going to be unstoppable in a few years if he continues his current training regimen.
Oh man, starting off here with a very difficult 3 club body throw combination, going from front to back and back to front.
Oh, and look at these moves. Here's where you see Wes's creativity combined with skill. Difficult and original, that's what we like to see. And then right into a power move there. 3 up 720, all in flats.
He really does study each trick and finds out ways in which to connect one to the next. A 3 up 180, connected to a 3 up 720, right into reverse back crosses.
Oh, just a slightly under-rotated club and missed the handle. Oh, perfect. And it connected to a 1 up 360 and right into chin rolls with behind the back throws.
There's a youthful excitement about Wes. He just gets into it.
Okay, moving on to 4 clubs.
Oh, that was a beautiful 4 up 360 in sync, connected to scissor throws.
And then right into a 2 up scissor 360, into another 2 up 360, connected to alternating flat throws.
And right from flats into the alternating cross-arm pattern.
Amazing cross-arm pattern. He seems surprised that it worked.
Yeah. On to his 5 club routine. And starts off with a 5 up 360 into single spins.
Oh, loses the pattern right there. Let's see if he does it again.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll do it. Oh my gosh. Well, at this point he needs to move on. He really needs to move on, unless he's got...
He's going to keep trying.
Okay, well...
Right into singles.
Yep, into a connected 3 up 360. That's the reason why you want to try a third time. And executing 10 flat throws all within the same sequence.
And I like the duck walk.
Yeah, kind of pumps himself up as he goes.
Little waddle, little wing flapping. Just a slight error there and a drop. I believe he's up to about 4 drops at this point. He still could do fairly well if he doesn't have any more drops.
Oh, and another drop going for 5 club back crosses. Remember, he won the 5 club back cross isolated endurance competition with over 30 catches while standing on a chair. 5 club back crosses.
He even has a couple of errant throws that he catches very well. Oh, there it is. There's the waddle.
He did it in reverse, though.
And that'll do it for Wes. Now that's what we're talking about. Wes raised the bar there. A few more drops than we'd like to see, but he made up for it with a high level of difficulty and originality.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at that beautiful 4 club scissor sequence, going from a sync pattern, all 4 up, 360, and right into scissor throws. Then 2 up in scissors and another 360, 2 more up to stagger the pattern, and then another 360, and then right into flat throws.
And the sequence doesn't stop there. He goes right into this alternating cross-arm pattern.
And there's those 5 club flat throws, the only competitor to qualify them this year in the full program.
There's the waddle again.
Oh, look at that precision.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
When I saw it the first time, I didn't get it, but now I get it. I'm not just watching it, I'm starting to do it.
Yeah.
So Wes Peden gets a 7.3, ending up in 5th place overall with a 10.3. Up next is the final competitor in the final event of the overall championship. From Russia, Vova Galchenko. Now, as good and original as Wes is, nobody can really touch Vova when it comes to club moves and connections. He's just way ahead of any other competitor. You see right here, starting with a 3 club whirlwind, all 3 up and a 360 between each catch. And then all these spinning combinations that go by too quickly even to mention, and then connected right into solid body throws.
And look at the feet, just locked in place. This is a perfect example of how to do this move. And that'll do it for 3 clubs. Now moving on to 4 clubs. Starting with some shoulder throws, 8 shoulder throws.
And then his signature 4 up 360 into a 2 up split quarter turn right into a high-low shower with parallel to front throws.
Vova is known for being able to catch anything. It doesn't really matter how that club is coming down, he'll find a handle somewhere. And he looks very relaxed.
Not quite as happy as some of the other competitors.
No, he's serious.
Going on to his 5 club routine. His 5 club moves are always unbelievably difficult, starting here with 7.44s into 9.53s. A nice warm-up for him, but not even close to the difficulty we know he's capable of.
Oh, and there's a 3-up 540, basically a 360, and then a 180.
Oh man, now see, that's what we're talking about. A 5-up 360 connected right into 6x4, both moves extremely difficult. And then a 3-up 360, all in 6x4 and back into 6x4. And a transition back into the basic pattern. Oh, and looks like he forgot to do something. Let's see.
Ah, he forgot to drop. That's what he was missing.
Yeah, that's something he didn't quite get around to yet.
Right.
This would be a 2-high, 2-body throw move here. And he gets it on his second try. So far, so good. Just one drop, and he's landed some incredibly difficult moves and connections.
Back crosses with double spins, into triples. Oh man,
having a little difficulty with that.
Yeah, well, I hope this doesn't rattle him. He decides to head straight for the triples.
And here you see a competitor whose brain is in control, deciding to skip the doubles and just go for the triples. And effortlessly back into the basic pattern. And now he's going for 7 clubs. Nobody has ever qualified 7 clubs in a full routine juggling competition before. A nice, solid 7-club run.
And on his first try, too. He's got 7 clubs down better than any other competitor in history, and proved that right here tonight with a flawless qualifying run on his first attempt in competition.
And now continuing with 3 clubs even after time is announced. Still not sure why the competitors keep going, knowing that they won't be awarded any further points but can still accrue deductions.
Well, he obviously heard it, and now he's stopping.
And he gets the wave. The wave and a hug from the sister.
That's not bad at all. Dietz is getting a little jealous.
Dietz needs his hug.
Yeah.
Let's check out this 540 since it went by so quickly. 3 clubs up, there's a full 360, and then an additional 180. Get out your calculators and you'll find out that that was, in fact, a 540.
And look at this. 2 high, then 2 body throws, and then back into the basic pattern.
Of course, we've got to show his 7-club run since he made history with it here tonight. Now let's be a little picky here. There's a little moving of the feet.
Yeah, I think I moved my feet just watching him. But look at the placement of the clubs and the consistent peaks. Very symmetrical, very, very pretty, and very, very difficult, as he's the first in history to achieve it here. And catching them all just
all
as he started.
He didn't stick any under his arms, between his legs, none of that. Caught them all in his hands. I like that. And Vova Galchenko receives an 8.23, giving him a total overall score of 23.93. So that places Jason Garfield in 3rd place, Vova Galchenko in 2nd place, and in 1st place, for the 2nd year in a row, the defending champion, Thomas Dietz, wins the overall championship, taking home $4,000 in prize money and several medals, and of course, the overall championship trophy. From Las Vegas, Nevada, I'm John Weed.
And I'm Owen Morse, and that concludes this year's series of WJF competitions.
We'll see you all next year for the 2007 WJF UK Open, and then at the 2007 WJF Overall Championship, right back here in the USA. We'll see you then.
Now go practice.